So what the fuck have you been getting up to while you've been away from me, you fucking cheater?
I started a new series that is not new at all, but it's new for this show. I played Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. It was originally released on November 19th, 2007 on the PlayStation 3. It was developed by Naughty Dog and published by Sony. It was re-released on the PlayStation 4 in the Nathan Drake Collection, which is how I will be playing through the series. The Nathan Drake Collection has the first 3 games of the series. The story begins with our main character, Nathan Drake, discovering the surprisingly empty coffin of Sir Francis Drake, Nate's great whatever. Inside, Nate finds more clues to follow to find Sir Francis and the lost city of El Dorado. Along for the adventure is Nate's longtime bestest friend and emo boy toy platonic male wife Victor Sullivan, and also Elena Fisher, who is allegedly there to record Nate's findings on a shitty Discovery Channel slop show. I want to never ever be blamed for plagiarizing Wikipedia in my summaries. So I have to make them spicy.
You are a better man than I.
Nate and Sully do their best to imitate Indiana Jones without getting slapped with a copyright claim. They explore South America. They encounter their longtime nemesis Eddie Raja, who is always somehow right behind Nate, despite Nate literally collapsing the path he came from the entire way. They discover that Nazis were trying to find El Dorado at some point because, of course, they're a major part of the story in the last couple of chapters when Nate is killing all the weird Nazi zombie creatures. An interesting twist to the story that I had forgotten about. So, spoilers for a 20-year-old game. El Dorado is just a golden idol / casket thing that is cursed. It's not a mountain or city of wealth. It's a terrible cursed object that could really hurt humanity, and that's why the ancient civilizations worked so hard to hide it. In the end, the villain is killed by his greed and is buried underwater, accidentally tied to the idol to be lost forever? Question mark. Probably forever. But you never know. Moving on to visuals, insert my overused obvious disclaimer that this game is almost 20 years old. With that said, this game looks so cool. I'll talk about it a little bit more in gameplay, but there are sections when Nate is sneaking and climbing around incredible set pieces, and the camera backs way out so you, the player, can see the incredible, impressive vista that Nate is witnessing. A beautiful mountainside, or a huge waterfall dumping into a lake at the bottom, or climbing up a cliffside and watching the sunset over the ocean. I wondered a couple of times how big the game box, like the level, actually was in engine, or what was actually just a painted wall that was made to look 3D. It's surprisingly big. Besides set pieces, there are really fun events that help make levels feel bigger than they are. Like in the second level, there are a bunch of crappy wooden platforms over a huge pit, and just as Nate steps on it, it all starts to collapse and he has to run to safety. They're almost literally the big rock rolling behind Indiana Jones. There are a couple of sections like this that help to make the world feel big. Again, I'm playing the Nathan Drake Collection, which are partial upscaled remasters. I noticed that there was a bubble or radius around Nate that made flora and fauna fade in and out around him. I forget the term for it. I think it's draw distance. It wasn't always obvious, but there were times I noticed it and, of course, had to play with it for a second. Just like walk forward a little bit and then walk back and just watch plants disappear. Moving on to sound design. Oh my gosh, sound design. The music is incredible. It's the first thing in the game to help set the mood at any time. The main menu, the creepy caves, the chase scene, so many memorable songs. I first played this game in, I think that's wrong. in 2016, and I smiled as soon as I heard the main menu song this time. I had nostalgia for a game I played once almost 10 years ago. The voice actors in this game absolutely crushed it. Nolan North plays Nathan Drake and fits his role so well, and a rough and tumble adventurer. Emily Rose plays Elena, and her character doesn't have much of an arc in this game, but she can still be my wife anytime. Richard McGonigal plays Sully, the old horny best friend that's always puffing a cigar and making great jokes. His gender is mustache, I swear.
This is my favorite stupid joke we have right now.
The guns have limited sound effects, to be fair, but I love that you can easily hear a difference in what is being shot, usually at Nate. One of the shotguns especially has a unique sound every time it's shot, and I couldn't put my finger on what it is. It's like a weird clanky racking sound. Like every time it's pumped, it's like rails slamming together. It's really weird and mechanical. Moving on to gameplay. This game, we're going to play some trivia. You ready? This game came out November 19th of 2007. Can you guess when Assassin's Creed 1 came out?
I believe it was... I know it was 2007 for one, so we got that. I believe it was June?
6 days before this game.
Motherfucker.
November 13th of 2007. I don't know what other games in that era had the whole parkour, wall climbing, platforming, but I associate that concept to Assassin's Creed, and this game was hot on its heels. It's a conspiracy. Climbing is very important in this game for traversing the area to another level, for exploring and treasure hunting, sometimes even for survival. I'll be honest that the climbing is solid, better than a lot of my experiences with Assassin's Creed, but it can still be annoying, especially when I'm not quite sure where I'm supposed to go next. Usually the path is telegraphed well without white paint, but there were a couple times that it was tough to guess, which leads to a stupid death. This game isn't just action and adventure. There are moments of downtime out of combat, just walking through the woods and trying to solve a story-relevant puzzle like an Indiana Jones or maybe a National Treasure. Most of the puzzles require you to look at Sir Francis Drake's journal that Nate had already found before the game started, and he was kind enough to write down all the solutions to the puzzles that we encounter. This notebook was pretty much only made as an answer sheet, and thankfully I know that this mechanic is used much better in later games. However, if you're too dumb to understand Francis's notes, the game has a system baked in to give you a hint if you want it. Up on the D-pad in the middle of a puzzle will direct Nate's attention to a key piece of the puzzle. I really appreciate that because it'll give you like a little rattle and cha-ching telling you to hit up on the D-pad if you're stuck, and you can choose to be like, no, I'm smart, I can figure this out. Whereas a lot of other games like the most recent Tomb Raider games, Lara will just be like, wow, look at that fucking shiny thing up in the tree. Outside of puzzles, up on the D-pad directs Nate's attention to a cool view or a big explosion or something cool to look at. Again, with the trivia. This game came out November 19th, 2007. Can you guess when Gears of War 1 came out?
I think it was 2008 or 2010, but it's obviously 2009 because that's what you're going for with this shtick. Let me guess, a week after.
Almost exactly 1 year before. 1 year, 2 weeks. So November 7th of 2006. It's another conspiracy, man.
That's a nice little teaser for what we're going to do when you get back. We're going to have a whole shebang. So keep tuned for that in case we don't die before then.
It's another conspiracy, man. Both games are well known for being third-person cover shooter games. I don't mind third-person. It's usually just something to get used to. But there was admittedly a lot of jank with the camera in this game. Pressing circle near cover would have Nate hug cover closely. He would like crouch behind a barrier or stand behind a pillar. He would lock in, and I have never been able to manage that cover system well. On harder difficulties, the pro gamers I've read, it suggests to not even lock into cover, but just stand behind it because it's easier to manage, and also it's easier to shoot around corners because you're partially abusing the perspective. The cover system was probably the biggest issue I had with this game. It feels so difficult to manage. I felt like I died unfairly because I couldn't control the game well enough. It's very frustrating. All right, here's an easy trivia for you. Do you remember when Halo Combat Evolved was released?
That would be, it was either July or August 2007.
November 15th, 2001. 6 years, 4 days before this game. This
Wait,
one probably...
You said Combat Evolved, didn't you? I'm stupid. I was thinking 3.
I gotcha. This one probably isn't a conspiracy, but Halo only allowed Master Chief to carry 2 guns at a time, and that is how this game rolls too. No notes really, just an interesting gameplay highlight. However, there was a trophy that I got because I'm a cool gamer called the Master Thief Collection, and I thought that was a funny nod. I got that trophy by collecting all treasures in the game, which leads me to treasures. There are 60 plus 1 secret treasure hidden in the 22 levels of this game. They are small trinkets, idols, toys, toothpicks from the ancient culture in the area that Nate's always in. They are indicated by a small glint of light that flashes every so often, so you, the player, have to keep an eye out or just explore every corner of the level to find these. I had gotten somewhere between 30 and 40 my first time playing, and this time I used a YouTube walkthrough. In my defense, I didn't know this was a thing when I started playing oh so long ago. I know I collected a better percentage of the treasures as the games progressed. The bonus treasure is a strange fruit, and it's a reference to another Naughty Dog game series that needs a revisit, I swear, via a remake or a new game or something. Jak and Daxter. Back to shooting, the reticle system feels very similar to Halo. The reticle for the basic starting weapon, the pistol, is a big inaccurate circle. The sniper zooms in and shows the scope, reticle, etc., etc. A shotgun basically has 2 parentheses of just like, yeah, it's in here somewhere. Aiming was frustrating at times. It was really hard to get a read on where the reticle would appear when pulling the left trigger to actually aim the gun. Aiming would zoom the camera, even if slightly, but I could never quickscope in this game. The reticle never felt comfortable to estimate its placement just based on where the camera was. Stealth exists, I guess. Apparently it's an absolute necessity to beat the game on crushing and brutal, but on hard, I hardly ever got a stealth kill. The enemies felt way too alert. I guess it's possible, I just couldn't figure out how. There's no crouch or anything, you just walk slowly. Ain't nobody got time for that, just shoot them. In closing, I always feel like I'm complaining in my reviews. I love this game. I love this series. They are so memorable, and despite not having played them back in the day, I honestly wonder how the developers did some of the amazing things in these games with the tech that they had. My complaints are so minor compared to the overall experience. I played this playthrough on hard to get the trophy. I considered for a hot moment to try to platinum this game, but I'm not sure I would survive one last trophy. Beat the game on crushing difficulty. Maybe next playthrough, but hard was enough for me this time. Out of 46 trophies, I have 15 plus the platinum left, and most of them would be easy to clean up with another playthrough on easy, which I'm sure I will do in a couple of years. A lot of them are just like, get so many kills with this weapon that I've just avoided. The series is iconic, and I can't wait to play the rest. I bought the Nathan Drake collection, so the first 3 games on PS4, way back in 2016 on a Black Friday sale for $20. And lately, it's been even cheaper than that. So worth it. I recommend this to anybody with a PlayStation.
Lovely. I don't think I've even touched the first game, to be honest.
Wow.
I think I only played 2 and 4. I think I definitely fucked around with the PS Vita like side game.
Oh yeah, that one's fun too.
Yeah, I think you talked about that on this show actually, like way the fuck back, or at least you thought about it.
That might have been back before this show, only in DCB.
True. Plug, go listen to the other podcast we do called Dime Comic Bros, where we talk about comic books and less video games these days because we have this whole thing.
But still some video games.
Which is kind of turning into the main show now. How the turntables.